Hi, hello, and here I am talking to you from the Acropolis in Athens in Greece, from the site of one of the old Athena temples, and amazing it is to be here. And the reason for me doing this is to talk to you about the Greek mythology cards. This is my latest publication, and why did I do it? Why did I sit there and think, you know what, we've got to have a deck of Greek mythology reading cards out there? Well, it was because I was aware of the rising feminine. I was aware of the fact that feminine energy, feminine goddess energy, is rising generally. Now, if women, for instance, are representatives of the feminine, and they don't have to be, but largely they are, then we can see the rise in the feminine anyway all around us, because we can see women wanting to claim more of a say, wanting to have more power, wanting to have more input into the collective, wanting to have their voice heard. And I think the reason for this astrologically can be looked at in terms of the planets and what's happening around the year 2020. There is a definite shift in the sky in 2020, and I have been predicting that this is the year that is sort of the pivotal fulcrum year, when it just ever so slightly tips from a very male, masculine oriented energy or power into a more feminine energy or power. And although we're not going to see this happen in just a year, just like that, these things take decades to happen. If we were to pinpoint it in astrology, then 2020 would be the year, because of what's happening with the big outer planets there and the new dwarf planets. Okay, so we get that happening in the sky. That says there's going to be a shift towards feminine energy in the collective, and women as representatives of the feminine are likely to be the vehicles for this shift in the collective energy. Okay, that sounds great, and I see evidence of this happening everywhere. The March on Washington, women are generally claiming and wanting to have more say in things. We see the little stirrings and the early shoots of it all over. We're not there yet, I admit. It's going to take many decades. There is a lot of patriarchal culture to shift, but it is coming. It has started. And one of the things I was very sort of aware of was, but our religions are all one male god religions. The top three world religions all have one male god in authority, and very little presence of women. So I thought about that, and I thought, you know, the old Greek Olympic pantheon, that had 6 male gods and 6 female goddesses. Now, I'm not suggesting that at that time in ancient Greece there was equality for women. There wasn't. In fact, it was a time when women were losing their power from the times of the great goddess. However, they did at least have the deities or the spiritual or religious role models. At least they were in evidence. So I started to research this. In actual fact, I studied mythology for my master's degree, and I realized that if I could create a deck like this, we could use them and bring them into reality, because whenever we focus on deity, whenever we focus on the spiritual, our attention calls in the energy from the other side and makes it more available in our world. So just simply drawing these cards, taking out Athena, for instance. So hey, let's get Athena out here in Athena's temple. So just taking out the Athena card, for instance, and reflecting on her, reading the message, it brings awareness of Athena back into the collective. We are bringing her in. And that's a wonderful thing to do, because these old deities are still there. They're still in the unconscious, in the collective unconscious. They're still there. We just don't call on them anymore. But if we have something, a vehicle or something which we can use to call on them, to bring these ancient energies back into life, to ask them once more for their support, then they will indeed come in. They just will. They will be more than willing to jump into our lives and help us. So I figured that if I could write this deck and I could make it available, then everybody could take their part in bringing the female goddesses back into our lives once more. And this would work in tandem with the general rise in the collective of women and women's power. We've had, let's face it, so many thousands of years of patriarchy. We are due for a rebalance anyway, but it's lovely to see that the astrology around the year 20 says that it is coming, even though it won't happen in 1 year. That is the center year, but it will take a while, decades either side of 2020, to swing it. So I'm hoping that these new cards will introduce to us just another vehicle, another tool which we can use to broaden our spiritual experience, to add diversity to our religious and spiritual experience. Because we need to step out of the old paradigm spiritually and step into a new one. Otherwise, what are we saying? That women who are feminists, like myself, shouldn't be spiritual? We shouldn't have a religious framework? I believe we should. But I believe the one God religion doesn't give me that, because I think there should be more equality or more feminine energy included in it. And so that's why I wrote these. I was very guided to do so, I have to say. It was fabulous to get Richard Crooks on board to do the illustrations, brilliant. And I'm just hoping you'll find them useful. But how lovely to bring them here and to do some recording and take some photographs with them. Anyway, I will hopefully now show you, if I can take the phone without knocking it off. Oh, there we go. I'm going to show you some of Athens from here. There we go. And it was lovely to talk to you. I'm going to do some more recording. Oh yeah, these are lovely columns. This church, actually, the church, there was a church built on this site after the temple to Athena, but the columns are from the old temple. And what happened was that the new religions always built their stuff on the ashes of the old religions. They just kept building on the same spiritual sites. That's what you've got here. Okay, see you soon. Bye.